She sent an unexpected message to a billionaire CEO. Discover the incredible life-changing response that followed. Tara sat at her kitchen table, shadows playing across the walls of her small home. Bills piled high, a relentless reminder of her struggle. The flicker of the lamp illuminated her tired face as she typed the words that echoed in her heart, fingers trembling with the weight of them. Dear Mr. Harrison, she began, I am a high school teacher in Maplewood, struggling to provide my son Charlie with the opportunities he deserves. With every word, she poured frustration, hope, and the laughter of her little boy into the flickering screen. She pressed send, unaware of the powerful ripple her message would unleash. Days passed, and Tara buried herself beneath mountains of ungraded papers, feeling invisible in the vast world. The familiar sounds of children laughing outside her window tugged at her heartstrings, reminding her of the innocent joy that fueled her relentless determination. Charlie, just 6, filled her days with laughter but also brought worries. She couldn't escape a future overshadowed by poverty and underfunding in schools. The day she received his reply was surreal. Greg Harrison, the billionaire CEO, felt her words resonate in ways he hadn't anticipated. The frantic pace of corporate life faded into the background as he read her email. It cut through him like a bolt of lightning. He felt compelled to act, not just for Tara and Charlie, but for countless children in the same situation. The next thing he knew, he was taking to social media, rallying support and sharing Tara's story far and wide. Before they knew it, the story exploded. Tara found herself thrust into a spotlight she never wanted. Neighbors who had once been friendly now whispered about her and Greg's unexpected connection. Her colleagues, who admired her dedication, began questioning her motives. Underneath the scrutiny, she felt raw and vulnerable. Here she was, just a mother fighting for her child's future, but now her integrity was being examined like never before. At a town hall meeting, Tara stood to voice her concerns, her heart racing. The American dream, she began, it shouldn't be just a dream for the privileged. Murmurs erupted among the crowd. She felt emboldened, challenged by the icy gazes of those who struggled to see the unfairness she knew all too well. Some in the audience nodded in agreement, but others were defensive, protective of their beliefs, reminding her of the mythos of hard work. As tensions rose, Tara and Greg prepared for the nationally televised charity event. Their worlds were colliding, each facing their own truths. With the stakes mounting, Tara felt unsure. Would her plea for equity resonate, or would it only reveal the chasm between their lives? And Greg, could he navigate from his realm of privilege to truly understand the struggle she endured? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Tara looked down at Charlie, her heart swelled and broke at the same time. Could her fight spark something more? Would she inspire others to join in, reclaim their narrative? Anticipation hung in the air, thick and electric. The night of the charity event would be a turning point, a moment that would define not just their lives, but the lives of children across the country. Could one conversation truly change everything? The night of the charity event arrived with a flurry of excitement and unease. Tara gazed into the mirror, her reflection revealing a mixture of hope and fear. She straightened her dress, a simple, yet elegant navy blue that contrasted with the glitzy atmosphere surrounding her. This was not her world. The bright lights and polished looks of the attendees felt foreign, like she had stepped onto a movie set where she didn't belong. "Mom, you look so pretty," Charlie chirped, his innocent enthusiasm shining brightly. He twirled around in his little blazer, too big for him but filled with pride. Tara knelt down, brushing a lock of his hair from his forehead, and smiled. "Thank you, sweetheart. You make me feel strong." As they entered the grand hall, filled with chatter and laughter, Tara's heart raced. She could see Greg across the room, gesturing animatedly to a group of donors. He appeared in his element, a natural leader inspiring those around him. Remembering his words from their last conversation, she took a deep breath. I know we can do something important together, he had said. But as she moved closer, doubt crept in. Would he really understand? Would anyone? She looked at the sea of suits and gowns, knowing they were there to support a cause but uncertain if they could grasp the full magnitude of the urgency. Tonight is about hope, Greg's voice echoed as he stepped onto the stage, his presence commanding attention. Tara couldn't help but watch intently as he spoke, his passion igniting the room. We can shape the future for our children, for every child. His words reverberated in her core, yet she worried that those ideals would be lost in translation. When it was Tara's turn to speak, she felt like she was in freefall, nervous and exhilarated all at once. She stepped up to the mic, the faces of the audience blurring into one. Her palms were clammy, but she wiped them on her dress, steadying herself. Thank you for being here tonight. She paused, looking for familiar faces in the crowd, focusing on Charlie's encouraging nod from the front row. My name is Tara, and I'm a teacher from Maplewood. I know firsthand the impact of inequality in education. Our kids deserve better. As she spoke, she felt the energy in the room shift. Whispers and glances exchanged, some intrigued, others skeptical. I've fought to give my son opportunities, to believe in his future. She took another deep breath. But it shouldn't just be our fight. We need to unite to create change. A soft murmur of agreement rippled through the audience. Tara pressed on, determination written on her face. It is our responsibility to ensure every child can dream their own American dream, not just the ones born into privilege. There was a moment of silence, heavy and charged. A woman in the front raised her hand, but how do we make that change? Tara felt a flash of excitement. We start by listening to each other, she said, a newfound resilience in her voice. We can't ignore the struggles faced by those in underfunded communities. Greg smiled proudly from the side, visibly impressed. Tara realized she was no longer just speaking to a crowd of elite donors but connecting to the hearts of those who truly cared. She saw nodding heads and some tearing up. She was reaching them. Just then, a voice cut through the moment, the president of the board, known for his lofty ideals and past criticisms of Tara's views. And how do we know this will create results, Tara? He challenged, his brow furrowed, the air tensed, and Tara's heart sank. Because stories matter, she replied firmly, meeting his eyes. Because kids like Charlie matter. Suddenly, Tara felt a shift of power ignited within her. Was this not the moment she had wished for? Putting everything on the line, she added, it starts with us. With understanding. What are we willing to do to create real opportunities? The sound of a microphone hitting the floor echoed in the silence. All eyes turned toward the source. The unexpected had just erupted. Could this alter the course of the night? In the balance hung the future of a movement. She had never planned to lead. What would happen next? Tara's heart raced as the microphone clattered to the floor. The sound seemed to hang in the air, vibrating with tension. She turned instinctively toward the source and spotted a young woman, barely in her 20s, scrambling to pick up the fallen microphone while her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Tara sensed the weight of the moment pressing on everyone in the room. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. The woman exclaimed, her voice a mix of panic and determination. I needed to know what happens next. Can we really make that change happen? With every eye on her, Tara felt a lifeline. Yes. We can start small, she replied, her spirit buoyed by the woman's genuine curiosity. We can connect, create mentorship programs, fund scholarships, things that work soundly in communities. The crowd stirred in responsive murmurs again, a ripple of interest igniting in their eyes. She caught Greg's gaze from the side, a reassuring nod passing between them. It felt like a sign that a man in a tailored gray suit raised his hand, his tone skeptical yet intrigued. But what about the funds? How do we get the money for these initiatives? You'd be surprised how much change starts with passion, Tara said, gaining more confidence with each question. When we unite our resources, when we show up not just with wallets but with open hearts and minds, the funds will join us. That was it. Her words hung in the air like an echo, a beacon of possibility. The crowd shifted, leaning in closer. Tara felt emboldened by the growing interactions. I'm not asking you to hand over your savings tonight, she continued, her voice steady. I'm asking for a commitment to listen, to partner with us, to invest time and energy. When we collaborate, we can rise above the barriers that divide us. A silence fell, thick with contemplation. A woman near the front with elegant silver hair blinked back tears. My husband and I used to believe in giving through checks. But we see now that relationships matter more, she said, the room hanging on her every word. What if we partnered directly? What if we nurtured those connections? Yes. Tara exclaimed, her heart pounding with excitement. That's it. That's how change starts. We share stories and dreams, turn those into actions together. Greg stepped forward, clapping his hands together, the sound breaking a rising tide of enthusiasm. Let us brainstorm right here, right now. We can turn these ideas into a plan. Tara felt moments of disbelief flicker through her mind, as she witnessed something she had only dreamed of. The chatter became lively as people shared ideas, forming groups around tables, all buzzing with fresh energy. Out of the corner of her eye, Tara noticed the president of the board, his expression shifting from skepticism to deep thought. He was writing something on a notepad, frowning and lifting his gaze intermittently. Did she dare hope? With each idea that flowed, Tara felt more alive. More people raised their hands, eager to contribute. It was a feeding frenzy of creativity. Parents, teachers, and businesspeople joined forces, their passions igniting the room. This was not merely a charity event anymore, it had morphed into a rally for action. Tara could see Greg nodding to her, his approval almost palpable, and the fire inside her burned brighter, but then, a voice boomed again, cutting through their spirited atmosphere. The president of the board had finally found his voice. Very well, Tara. But if you're suggesting we invest wholeheartedly, what are the metrics of success? How do we track this? The electrifying energy took a dip. The excitement faded into hesitant murmurs. Tara's heart surged. This was the moment she knew she'd have to rise again. She took a deep breath, every heartbeat vibrating with urgency. Metrics are important, yes. But numbers don't tell every story. We measure success by the lives changed. By children inspired to succeed when they once saw no hope. The audience listened, their faces filled with anticipation. Could they embrace a new way of measuring success? Could they change the narrative? The weight of the question settled heavily on her shoulders. As she scanned the room, confidence surged again. This was only the beginning of something big. What would the board's final decision be? How could they confront the doubts that still lingered? And as whispers of excitement erupted again, Tara knew they were on the brink of something monumental. But what would happen if they united or if they walked away? Would they push the conversation further or let it die down? The stakes were rising, each person on the brink of a choice that could change everything. Will they take this chance to build a better future? The question hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy with possibilities. Tara's mind raced as she scanned the audience, searching for signs of eagerness, hope, skepticism. Every face told a part of the story, reflecting perspectives on change and relationships, on growth and collaboration. Encouraged by the energy, she leaned into her urge to connect deeper, to remind everyone that change didn't need grand gestures. It began with small sparks of commitment. What if we all pledged just 1 hour a week to something meaningful? She proposed, her voice carrying across the room. Time spent mentoring, getting involved in community projects. Just think of the lives we could touch. A ripple of nods swept through the crowd. The man in the gray suit raised an eyebrow, intrigued. And what if we made those hours count? What guidelines would we need? Tara's heart sang at the suggestion. Let us set goals together. If we know where we want to go, we can get there. We can track our stories, testimonies, and impacts. Numbers won't define us, our narratives will. A wave of discussion erupted. Ideas jostled for air among the attendees, sharing anecdotes of mentorship, the struggle some kids face, the potential within everyone who just needed a chance. Tara felt the warm pulse of energy striking a chord. In that moment, she saw it, people stepping up, crossing boundaries. It was real. They weren't merely talking about change, they were pushing each other to reach beyond personal comfort zones to make an impact. A man with a baseball cap turned to the people at his table. "Hey, let's just put together a plan for the local school. We could mentor kids in trouble, help them with skills they need to keep them engaged." "Yes," Tara shouted. "That's a fantastic idea. We can spread the word and get volunteers from our networks, churches, and local businesses." Quickly, people started jotting down ideas, fast conversations igniting around her. A few groups formed, bustling with excitement. It was like a jigsaw puzzle coming together piece by piece. As she listened, her heart swelled. She saw Greg smiling, gathering momentum with every new initiative suggested. But just when she thought the tide was turning, the president of the board interrupted once more, his voice calm but firm. "These are great ideas, Tara. But let us not forget the reality. Action without accountability is just noise. We need to figure out how to keep momentum. How do we ensure everyone stays committed?" The room felt tense again, as if the wind had been knocked out of them. Tara inhaled deeply. What if we created accountability groups? Small teams that check in on each other's commitments, celebrate wins, share challenges in real time? The idea seemed to linger and grow. She could almost see the wheels turning in people's minds. Slowly, a hand raised in the back, a woman with glasses who had been quietly observing. "And what if we culminate our efforts with a big community event? A day where we showcase our efforts and successes, celebrate together?" "Yes," Tara responded, eager light dawning in her eyes. "We can present progress, invite community members, media, make even more connections. Let them see the faces behind the projects." Cheers erupted, and Tara felt electric. She hadn't expected this discussion to go so far. It was like watching seeds take root and soar into an unstoppable movement. But there was still an unspoken tension looming over the room. What if they failed to hold each other accountable? What if those bright ideas dissolved amid everyday life? In that heartbeat, she realized it was all or nothing. "We commit," she said, her voice cutting through the chatter. "Not just in this room, but beyond. If we leave tonight, let us leave with intentions. We either make a pact right now to start transforming lives, or we choose to go back to comfort." Gasps echoed as a weight settled over the crowd. Was this too audacious? Was she pushing too far? Silence reigned, and every heartbeat could be heard. Would they rally around this commitment or let fear hold them back? The moment sparked uncertainty, and with it, a flicker of hope. Tara sensed something monumental hanging in the balance. Would they answer the call, or would this inspiring night slip away into just another memory of what could have been? She held her breath, knowing they were on the precipice of a pivotal moment. As glances danced around the room, she awaited their decision. What would their answer be? Would it mark the start of something incredible, or would they retreat into their shells? The fate of their collective dream hung in the air, waiting to be decided. Tara's heartbeat quickened as she met Greg's gaze. Their eyes locked, and in that instant, she felt a surge of determination ripple through her. It was as if he could read her thoughts, her worries, her hopes. Was he feeling the same weight of anticipation? The room remained tense, pregnant with possibility. Slowly, one by one, hands began to rise. First, it was the woman in glasses. Then, another from a nearby table. Soon, the response cascaded through the crowd like a wave breaking on the shore. "Yes. I'm in," shouted a voice from the back. "I'll mentor at the school. I can lead an after-school program." Another added, a hint of excitement coloring her tone. Cheers mixed with laughter echoed as this shared energy ignited what once felt like an abstract dream into a tangible reality. The atmosphere morphed into a living, breathing entity, a collective surge toward transformation. Tara glanced over at the president of the board, his eyes wide with astonishment. He took a step back as if he was witnessing the very essence of commitment unfold. What was once a mere conversation was evolving into a movement, and she could feel the energy shift within the room. "I'll handle social media for our campaign," the man in the gray suit chimed in. "We need to share our journey, inspire others. This has to be bigger than us." A reminder of how far they'd come loomed in Tara's thoughts. With every new commitment, her heart danced with joy and pride. A giant tapestry of ideas formed, each representing individual dreams woven together by the thread of shared purpose, but amidst the triumph blossoming in the air, shadows of doubt lingered in the corners of her mind. What if they stumbled? What if life's distractions stripped away their motivation before they even got started? As the conversations grew more animated, Tara's voice pierced through the chatter once more, this time softer but tinged with urgency. "Let us not just talk about accountability, let us make it real. We're in this together, and together is how we succeed or fail." The crowd quieted again, drawn back into the moment. She took a deep breath, allowing each word to settle deeply into the atmosphere. "We need to establish a timeline. Goals we can visualize, checkpoints we can celebrate along the way." Faces turned thoughtful, and Tara saw the spark of realization dawning. The moments of joy wouldn't just be in the outcomes, they'd be found in the journey, too. "Maybe we set a date for our first community event," suggested Greg, glancing down at his notepad before meeting her gaze again. "That gives everyone a target to aim for." A wave of enthusiastic agreement rippled through the audience, and Tara felt her heart swell again, each commitment bringing them closer to a collective vision. The spark lit into a flame, and hands shot up as people offered different roles and teams. Seeing the group come to life stirred something new within Tara. She felt a profound sense of purpose, bolstered by the emerging relationships being forged in real time. They were no longer strangers, they were allies in a mission, their hearts intertwined with passion and resilience. But then, as they began to wrap up the meeting, a soft voice piped up from the edge of the circle. "What happens if we fail to stay connected beyond this meeting?" The woman's brow furrowed with concern. "How do we keep the fire going?" That question lingered in the air, carrying a weight that was impossible to ignore. Tara swallowed, her heart racing again. As they all gathered their thoughts, she sensed an undercurrent of anxiety humming beneath the excitement. The stakes just felt higher now. They had lit a spark, but what would it take to keep that flame alive? As conversations paused and eyes shifted toward her, Tara felt the pressure of their hopes resting on her shoulders. She needed to lead. But how? "Maybe we start a monthly meeting?" she proposed, uncertainty threading her voice. "An open forum to share progress, challenges, and celebrate together. We can't do this alone, let us keep leaning on each other." The murmurs of agreement hinted at the foundation of something not yet realized. Together, they teetered on the brink of monumental change, and uncertainty painted the path ahead. With renewed determination and a touch of trepidation, Tara realized she was ready to move forward. They all were. But the true journey into the unknown was just beginning. For every road paved with hope, shadows threatened to rise. Could they weather the storms together? As the meeting concluded, Tara held on to that hope tightly, yet the whisper of doubt lingered, swirling around her. What awaited them on the horizon? Would unity strengthen their resolve, or would it crack under the pressure of reality? A new dawn awaited, but would they rise together? The room buzzed with a sweet mixture of laughter and determination as Tara stood at the front, her heart racing with excitement and uncertainty. People began to rise, exchanging phone numbers and making plans to connect outside the meeting. Greg leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching the scene unfold. The swell of community was palpable. It fueled the flame ignited within her. Tara's gaze drifted across the faces around her, each one now marked by a fire she hadn't seen before. They were strangers no longer, they had transformed into a team. A bond was forming, one rooted in shared passion. Yet, doubt still lingered at the edges, a constant reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. "Let us not lose this momentum," she called out, her voice rising above the chatter. "We can plan our event together. It can be a true showcase of our commitment." Heads nodded vigorously. Ideas bounced around like popcorn, each suggestion more vibrant than the last. There was talk of a community garden, talent showcases, even a local festival. Tara could hardly keep up with the excitement. Each person who stepped forward brought their passions to the table, and the vision was expanding beyond anything she had ever imagined. She felt a hand on her shoulder and turned to see Greg smiling at her. "This was amazing, Tara. We're really doing something here." But a new worry crept in with his words. They had ignited a fire, but how could she ensure it wouldn't fizzle out? The idea of burning out or losing focus weighed heavily on her heart. They needed structure, something to keep them accountable amidst the chaos of their busy lives. "Maybe we can create a social media group," Tara suggested, inspired by Greg's earlier enthusiasm. "Everyone can share updates, ideas, and we can document our journey." The group buzzed with approval, and Tara felt a sense of relief mixed with the charge of anticipation. She envisioned it a virtual space where unity thrived, where they could foster their commitments and celebrate small victories. Just as she was beginning to bask in the glow of their successes, her phone buzzed aggressively in her pocket. Pulling it out, Tara's brows furrowed as she saw the email notification. It was from the local community center. The terms of their grant application were about to be evaluated. Would they receive the funding they desperately needed for all these ideas to come to life? Her heart sank, tension gripping her stomach. They had taken significant steps together, but what if this critical piece fell through? What if funding issues pulled the rug from under them, snuffing out the flame before it had a true chance to grow? Greg must have sensed her shift because he stepped closer, looking deeply into her eyes. "Are you okay?" Tara forced a smile, but the fear pooled in her chest. "Just thinking about what's next. We're not out of the woods yet." Whispers of agreement danced through the crowd as people began to sense the importance of this moment. It wasn't just about the enthusiasm they had generated. It was now about follow-through. How would they face this setback when it came? "Let us pledge to help each other through it," Greg suggested, raising his hand. "No matter what challenges arise, we should be there for one another." His courage sparked a chain reaction, and soon, hands reached up, feeling like vines intertwining in the warmth of growth. Tara felt her heart lift again. They wouldn't face it alone. They were a community, now bonded through vision and hope. But the lingering question remained unspoken. What happens if they faced hardships they weren't prepared for? With their hands joined in unity, Tara met Greg's gaze again, and for the first time, she felt the weight of her worries begin to dissipate. They had power together, but could that power withstand the unpredictability of reality? As they stepped out of the meeting room, a cool breeze greeted them, carrying with it the scent of possibilities mingled with the whispers of doubt. What awaited them on this uncharted path? Would their commitment hold strong when tested against the ebbs and flows of life? Just ahead, a sign at the community center caught her eye: "Welcome to the future." Was that a prophecy or a challenge? Tara took a deep breath, heart thrumming with new resolve. Would they seize the moment together, or would the weight of expectations hold them down? The next morning, Tara woke up to sunlight streaming through her window. It felt like the world was inviting her to embrace the day, but a heaviness lingered. She lay in bed for a moment, staring at the ceiling, the events of the previous night still fresh in her mind. Encouragement buzzed in her ears, yet a gnawing anxiety circled her thoughts. Sitting up, Tara rubbed her temples, recalling the faces that had filled that meeting room. Each had come with their challenges and hopes, and she was determined not to let them down. She quickly grabbed her phone and opened the email from the community center again. The subject line loomed like a dark cloud: grant application status. Taking a deep breath, she tapped on it. The letter was concise and to the point. "We regret to inform you." Tara's heart plunged as she read the words. All those ideas, all that energy, suddenly seemed fragile. The vision they had crafted felt like it was shattering in her hands. Tara threw her phone onto the bed, frustration and sadness washing over her. What could she tell the community? How could she face Greg and the others after promising them hope? In that moment of despair, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Greg. "Hey, how are you feeling today? Let us meet up later." Toying with uncertainty, she typed back a quick reply, trying to keep her energy up. "I'm okay. Just processing everything. Let us meet at the cafe? I could use a chat." The hour flew by as she prepared herself to meet Greg. The cafe buzzed with early morning customers, laughter, and the hiss of the espresso machine. As Tara entered, she spotted Greg at a corner table, flipping through a notebook filled with sketches and plans. His energy was contagious, and for a moment, it quelled the storm inside her. "Tara! Over here." He waved enthusiastically, his smile as bright as the morning sun filtering through the window. "Hey! Thanks for rushing over," she smiled back, trying to mimic his enthusiasm. They settled in, and over steaming cups of coffee, they talked. Tara listened as Greg shared more ideas that had come to him overnight: a series of workshops, team-building activities, and even a new social media push. "I really think we could reignite the spark with this," he said. "People are ready to get involved. They just need a nudge." She nodded, but inside, doubts lingered. "But what if we don't have the funds? All of this," Tara gestured broadly, "will fall apart without them." Greg paused, his hands resting on the table. "Sure, it's a setback. But setbacks happen, Tara. It's about how we respond to them. We can rally the community. Let them know we need support." "Do you really think they'd be up for that?" Tara asked, her voice wavering. "Why not? You've seen how people reacted. They believe in this, in you. Sometimes all you need to do is ask." His words lit a fire in her that she thought had sputtered out. There was strength in vulnerability. She had to remember that. "What if," Tara proposed, her pulse racing, "we call a meeting to discuss how we can fund everything ourselves? We could organize fundraising events, tap into local businesses." Greg's eyes sparkled. "That's it. Show them we're not just about ideas but action. We can take charge and empower everyone involved." The weight in Tara's chest lightened. Their community wasn't just a collection of individuals, it was a collective force. United, they could tackle anything together. As they left the cafe, excitement bubbled between them. The path ahead was uncertain, but now they had something real: a plan to fight back. What lay ahead was unpredictable, but Tara felt the tide finally shifting. Suddenly, Tara's phone buzzed with yet another message. It was from an unknown number. Hesitantly, she opened it, feeling a shiver run down her spine as she read the words, "I can help you with your funding issues. Let's chat." Who was this mysterious benefactor? What were they offering? Tara felt the mix of hope and suspicion swirl inside her. Could this be the break they needed, or would it lead them into uncharted waters? Tara stared at the screen, her heart pounding. The message seemed surreal, like something straight out of a movie. "I can help you with your funding issues." What did that even mean? Who was this person? Why would a stranger suddenly want to dive into her chaotic world? "Hey, you alright?" Greg's voice broke her train of thought. He leaned closer, his brow furrowed with concern. "Yeah, just got this weird message." She hesitated, unsure if she should share the details right then. Would he think she was reaching for straws? "Someone says they can help with funding." "Seriously?" Greg's eyes widened with curiosity. "What do they want?" "I don't know. More info, I guess." Should I respond? Tara felt the weight of uncertainty press down on her. Why not? What do you have to lose? It could be exactly what we need. Thinking about it, Tara felt a flicker of excitement wrestle with her anxiety. "You're right," she said, feeling a surge of confidence. What's the worst that could happen? They're either genuine or they're not. She took a deep breath, her fingers hovering over the keyboard as she began typing. "Hi. Thanks for reaching out. I'd love to chat. When are you available?" After pressing send, she tried to ignore the knot forming in her stomach. Instead, she focused on Greg's voice as he shared more ideas about how to energize the community. Fundraisers, local sponsorship, maybe even a small carnival. Countless possibilities floated in the air, and for the first time in days, Tara felt the inkling of hope returning. They walked through the bustling streets of town, past shops and parks as Greg animatedly outlined their strategies. The laughter from a group of kids playing nearby filled the air with joy. Tara watched them, their carefree energy infectious, as children rarely worried about tomorrow. But then her phone buzzed again, another message from the unknown number. Her breath caught in her throat. I'm available tomorrow at 2 p.m. Meet me at Jensen Park? Got a time? Greg asked, glancing at her phone. Yeah, tomorrow at 2. Tara's heart raced. Jensen Park. Sounds perfect. We can scrounge up any small posters or flyers to promote that community meeting. Really get the word out. Right. Tara replied, her spirits lifting with each passing moment. She was falling into rhythm with Greg, ideas merging and flowing. It felt good to have someone beside her who believed wholeheartedly in their cause. I'll take care of that after we meet. As they strolled, anticipation began to overshadow her earlier fears. Meeting this stranger might just be the turning point she needed. Yet in the back of her mind, doubts crept in. What if this person had ulterior motives? What kind of help could they even offer? Hey, are you listening? Greg nudged her shoulder playfully. You've got that overthinking look again. Just imagining all the possibilities here. It could be a game changer. He raised an eyebrow. But you know what's even better? You're the driver of this train. We're the ones who are going to power this project. Our community needs us. No one is going to save us except us. The raw passion in his voice resonated deeply within her. Tara felt the weight of responsibility settle around her shoulders. It was her dream, and now she couldn't just sit back. By the time they reached her car, she was buzzing with determination. That night, Tara lay awake, thoughts swirling. The message echoed in her mind, a stranger's offering of help mixed with the excitement of possibility. She could toss and turn, drown in doubt, or she could choose to embrace this moment. When morning light streamed through her window again, Tara knew what she had to do. She would meet this mysterious benefactor, but she'd go in with eyes wide open. Would they truly have the means to offer her what she needed? And what lay beyond that meeting could be something darker, lurking just out of reach. As she prepared for the day, the question loomed prominent. Would today change everything, or would it throw her into a deeper uncertainty? Tara stepped out of her car, her heart racing as she made her way toward Jensen Park. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over everything. She took a deep breath, trying to shake off the weight of anxiety that hung around her like a thick fog. Every step felt heavier than the last, and doubt threatened to creep back in. What if this wasn't the breakthrough she was hoping for? What if this stranger was just another dead end? Yet, beneath the worry, a tiny spark of hope flickered like a candle fighting against a strong wind. She couldn't help but remember Greg's encouraging words. They were going to change their community, and maybe today was the first step. As she rounded a bend in the park, she spotted a figure standing under a large oak tree. The person was tall, leaning casually against the trunk, dressed in a crisp white shirt that contrasted sharply with the deep green of the surroundings. He looked up as she approached, and their eyes met. For a brief moment, everything fell away, and it was just the two of them standing there. Hi, I'm Tara, she said, attempting to sound more confident than she felt. Nice to meet you, Tara. I'm Michael, the man replied, extending a hand. His grip was firm, and there was an easy smile on his face that made her feel a bit more at ease. Thanks for meeting me on such short notice, Tara said, looking around at the park. Children were playing nearby, their laughter creating a light-hearted backdrop. I appreciate you reaching out. I know how challenging it can be to secure funding for community projects, Michael said, his tone earnest. Tara met his gaze, trying to gauge his sincerity. It's been tough. We have a vision for our community, but the funds they just aren't there. Tell me more about it, he encouraged, moving to sit on a nearby bench. Tara followed, her pulse quickening as she began to share her dreams for the community center and the programs they wanted to implement. As she spoke, the words flowed out of her ideas, hopes, the faces of the kids she saw as her audience. She saw them thriving in a place built for them. Michael listened intently, nodding occasionally, a contemplative look on his face. Your passion is really inspiring, he said after she finished her pitch. People need a reason to believe in something bigger than themselves, and you're doing just that. And what would you know about it? She couldn't help but ask, curiosity bubbling up inside her. He chuckled softly, a hint of humility in his demeanor. Let's just say I've been on a similar journey. I was once a kid with big dreams too. Tara sensed an unspoken connection, a shared understanding. It felt like something clicked between them, but then, Michael's expression shifted. His gaze grew more serious. Let's talk numbers, he said, pulling out a small notepad. What do you really need to get started? She hesitated, the words sticking in her throat. Honestly? It'd take a lot to launch the project. Maybe 50,000 at least. He scribbled something down quickly, glancing up at her with an unreadable expression. I can cover that. Her breath caught. Really? Absolutely, he said, his voice steady. But we need to talk about the plan. I'll help you, but I want to be involved. Tara felt a rush of disbelief and excitement. Her hands trembled slightly. What does that mean? He leaned forward, intensity sparking in his eyes. It means you need to show me you're serious about this. We'll work together, create something impactful. But there's a catch. What kind of catch? A chill swept over her, mingling with her excitement. Your vision may require sacrifices and some changes you might not expect. Tara's heart sank. What was she getting into? Did she really want help if it meant compromising what she stood for? How far was she willing to go? Questions swirled in her mind. Was this the opportunity she had hoped for, or a doorway to something she could never walk back from? As she looked at Michael, she realized the true challenge lay ahead, not just securing funding, but navigating the complexities of ambition and integrity. Are you ready to take the plunge, Tara? He asked, a small smile creeping back onto his face. Could she truly trust him? Could she follow where this path might lead? In that moment, Tara understood, this was only the beginning. And the real test started now. Tara stood on the brink of a new chapter, her heart pounding with uncertainty and anticipation. Michael's offer buzzed in her mind. 50,000, a lifeline for her community. But the implications weighed heavy. Sacrifices, changes you might not expect. What kind of changes? Her gut twisted at the thought. What if it meant compromising her beliefs? The park buzzed around her, the laughter of children a stark contrast to her internal turmoil. She met Michael's gaze, searching for the truth beneath the charm. Could she trust him? Let's talk about those changes, she finally said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. Michael leaned back thoughtfully, folding his hands. It's about scale and impact. We can't just add programs, we need a comprehensive strategy. That means some ideas might have to shift, prioritizing what will attract support and engagement. Tara swallowed hard. Deep down, she knew he was right. The world of funding was a machine driven by metrics and proven success. But at what cost? I can't lose sight of the kids, of why we started this in the first place, she replied, her voice firm. Of course not, he assured her. But we have to bring others on board, find ways to make our message resonate with those who can help. It's a balancing act. Nodding slowly, Tara began to see the fractures in her vision. She had been so focused on creating a space that felt completely genuine, she hadn't grappled with the reality of what it would take to make it happen. What if people don't like the changes? They will if they see the value in what you're trying to build, Michael said, his tone earnest. People are looking for hope. You can still keep the heart of your vision, your passion shines through everything. Tara bit her lip, processing the weight of the decision before her. They had ignited something powerful at the meeting, she felt it in the energy, in the collaboration they had sparked. But could she stand firm amid the push and pull of commercialization? Okay, she said finally, a newfound resolve blossoming in her chest. I'm all in on this project. I want to create something meaningful and sustainable. But I won't compromise on the core mission. Michael's smile widened. That's the spirit. We'll work together to build something that doesn't just succeed on paper but breathes life and hope into the community. As they laid out the foundations of their plan, Tara felt the weight of anxiety slowly lifting. Yes, it would require adaptation, but every great dream faced its challenges. The true measure of success wouldn't just be money, it would be the stories of lives changed, kids like Charlie, and the relationships formed along the way. The following weeks turned into a whirlwind of activity. Tara, alongside Michael, crafted a strategy that married her original vision with sustainable practices. They hosted brainstorming sessions with community members, inviting everyone to contribute. Ideas poured forth in a vibrant rush: fundraisers, mentorship programs, after-school events. It was exhilarating and exhausting all at once. People began to see the potential. Excitement enveloped the community. And as they planned the first major event, a buzz surged through Maplewood. A sense of pride that had long been dormant was awakening. On the day of the community kickoff, the sun painted the sky in warm hues of orange and pink. Tara stood in front of the crowd, heart racing as she watched familiar faces gather: her neighbors, friends, and even strangers sparked by the hope of change. Charlie stood at her side, his grin wide and infectious. "Together, we've ignited a movement," Tara started, her voice carrying with confidence. "This is more than just a project. This is our commitment to each other, to our children, and to creating a future where every child has the chance to thrive." The applause grew louder, resonating deep within her. In that moment, Tara felt the invisible threads of community weaving together tighter, stronger. And as she glanced at Charlie, beaming with pride, she knew she'd made the right choice. Real change was never easy. And their path was filled with twists and turns. But the strength of their newfound connections fueled her belief. They were no longer isolated, they had become a force for good. Through the service of many and the courage of a few, Maplewood would rise. And as the event unfolded with joy, laughter, and commitment, Tara realized this wasn't the end. They were just beginning. This was the moment to rise, to soar, to inspire. The American dream wasn't just a whisper, it was a calling, a collective chorus of voices ready to change the narrative. And as Tara looked out over the crowd, hope swelling in her heart, she knew deep down, this was just the start. Now, it's time for you to be part of this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive stories that inspire real change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and get these powerful messages into more hearts. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this emotional conclusion. And don't wait not even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this transformation. True fans understand the importance of spreading hope. Let us make this movement bigger together.